What's up guys, Gaonan here, and today I want to do a test run for my Drafting to Masters series that I want to do next month. The goals of this series are twofold. The first is to share my knowledge, and the second is to entertain. Since Fall of Argenport was released, I've made Masters every month. I'm usually in the top 50 drafters at the end of the month. I've also started keeping stats, and I'm generally hovering around a 60% win rate. As far as entertaining, I love to play Eternal. I love to talk about Eternal, especially Draft, because I think it's the best game mode they have to offer right now. If you want to talk about the game, if you want to draft together sometime, I'm open to it. Feel free to add me in-game. My name's right here. As of this recording, I'm sitting at rank 40, so let's see if we can go even higher. Alright, so there's not a ton of things common-wise that really draw me to any of those. Pensive Lumen is the strongest common in the pack, but Dashing Rapscallion I think is probably just as strong as Pensive Lumen. Both kind of push us towards a single color since they're both double influence cards. I just like to play with the rares when I get the chance. Alright, so some pretty good cards here for a second pick. We have Magenta Wisp, which can take out a lot of pesky flyers. We have Master at Arms to keep the pressure on. We have Training Ground, which is a solid 2-drop. And then Scavenging Spikeback is a nice tribute payoff, as well as Purge Leader. So a lot of good options here. Magenta Wisp is a little bit more flexible. Taking out flyers is a serious reason to pick up Magenta Wisp, so I think I'm going to pick it up here. Alright, so some really strong Justice cards here. The Peacekeeper's Helm is very nice. Blade Whirl is also very nice. Question is, am I married to either of these picks? Not really yet. I think in general I like Peacekeeper's Helm more than I like Blade Whirl because Rebuke on a stick is very strong, and usually when you're playing this card you've already put a lot of pressure on your opponent early on, so I think I'm just going to pick up the Peacekeeper's Helm here. Alright, so still some pretty decent commons coming through as far as Blade Whirl and Training Ground. I think those are the two best cards in the pack at this point. And considering I've already got a strong shadow card, I think it makes sense to pick up Blade World here. And we're rewarded because we get another Magenta Wisp. This is a very late Living Example. Do I like Living Example more than Calligrapher and Peacekeeper's Helm? This card is one of the bomb commons in the set, so maybe it's worth taking here because it is better than Calligrapher. I just don't have any other time cards at this point, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to pick it up, but I think it makes sense to pick it here. See what happens. And look at that, no Justice in this pack, so got rewarded for taking the Living Example rather than sticking to my Justice guns. Now I can take this Watchful Amanera and not feel bad about it. Because all the other cards in the pack don't compare to this one. Time was the right direction to go when I did. Illumination Wisp is a solid card. All these other cards are not great. I don't like Baton because of the double influence cost. So Sky Crew is a good card to have late in the game, so pick it up here. I don't think it really matters. I wouldn't play Gravemarker Oni. Once again, doesn't really matter here. I think I'm just going to pick up Lingering Influence. These are kind of boring picks here. I'm going to pick up Spite Feeder just because in this color combination of Xenon, you have the potential to end up in the Wisp Radiant deck. Sharpened Reflex is a good trick because it is permanent. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Sharpened Reflex. And Sirocco. Alright, so right now, we know we're not in red, so we can get rid of that. Our Shadow, we didn't get any more Shadow cards after those two Magenta Wisps. The late colors coming through in Pack 1 were Time and then Justice. So, seems like we'll probably end up in a Combre deck here. Vanquish is a very strong removal spell. takes care of any big pesky unit that you might not otherwise be able to deal with. So makes sense to take it here given that we're likely in Cambrai. Not a whole lot in this pack for us. Cambrai does in general like to have teleport in the deck because you attack with these big time bodies and then they have to double block and then you can bounce one of their guys back to their hand. Jotun Hurler is also just a very strong card. There's a lot of X1s in this format, i.e. Living Example and some other ones that Jotun Hurler deals with. Don't know if it's worthwhile to splash this card. We could just take the safe Alchemical Blast as well for some additional removal because in general Cambrai is light in that department. I think these two cards have the potential to come by again, so I think I'm just going to take the Hurler here and see what happens. So a solid 2-drop Injustice in Argenport Soldier, a very strong splashable Teriax Hatchling. Bellower is also decent. Duskwalker is a very strong card. So this draft has been interesting because we think we want to be in Cambrai, and I prefer to stay in 2-color decks. I really don't enjoy going into a 3rd color because in general it costs your deck consistency. I'm still not locked into Justice for sure. My cards aren't that strong in Justice. Vanquish is totally splashable. It's possible that we're actually going to be Elysian splashing Justice, so I think I'm going to take the Hatchling here. Well, one card is better than all the rest, and that's Auric Record Keeper. It's just crazy strong. Alright, we could take the banner to potentially splash Shadow. I don't think we have anything in Shadow that's worth splashing at this point. Like I said before, Cambrai is in general light on removal, so Predator's Instinct is welcome. And I think that's the pick here. Alright, we have either Valkyrie Militant or Initiate of the Sands, neither of which are super exciting. Valkyrie Militant by no means is great, but I think they're probably about equal, so there's a really great 2-drop for us. Once again, the packs keep trying to get us to splash for Shadow, but I don't think either of these cards are worth splashing for, so just take the Bold Adventurer. We'll take Soldier. These are autopilot picks right now. When you have a lot of playables, I think the Waystones are pretty good to pick up. I don't love Detain, so yeah, I'm just going to pick up the Waystone here because we have a decent amount of playables. Neither of these will be in the deck. Autopilot picks. Oh my goodness. This is a really strong pack for us. We have the Hurler, we have the Hatchling, so Crest of Wisdom is very strong, pulling us that direction, but Archive Curator is one of the best cards in the format. It's got a big butt, it's a great blocker, and Silence is very strong. Other notable cards in the pack would be Xenon Guardian, but I think if Curator wasn't here, I'd be taking the Crest. But Curator is Curator. Wow. And then we get rewarded with a Scorpion Wasp, so no doubt that's the pick here. Don't think Twinning Ritual is strong enough to be splashed for. Alright, I'm really getting rewarded here. Lots of options in this pack. We've got Clockroaches, we've got Desert Marshal, which I think is probably the pick. We've got Guardian, Sarasaur, Banner, Instinct. Lots and lots of options. I don't think we're going to need this 3rd color. Like I said, I prefer to be consistent with my drafts. And right now we're looking pretty strong. So I think I want to keep that up and just take this Desert Marshal here. Ambush, Silence can really mess some people up. The effect of Desert Marshal is pretty unique, so I prefer to pick that up here. Dispel is great. Silence and replaces itself, so I'll pick that here. How are we doing on 2-drops? We're doing pretty good on 2-drops. So we could take this Teleport. We really don't have any big bodies at the moment besides Record Keeper. So I don't know how good Teleport would be for us. And so I think I'm just going to take this Bold Adventurer again. Oh my goodness. So we are definitely in the right colors. Stand Together is a bomb. I'm taking it over Curator here, which, given what I said about Curator before, kind of talks about how strong Stand Together is on its own. Safe Return, nerfed Safe Return, kind of sucks. This combined with Predator's Instinct can be interesting. You could argue for the Huru banner for the splashing, but as I said, I really am not super interested in that. Let's see, we have one weapon. That's really it. So Assistant isn't exciting. Behemoth I really don't like. So I'm just going to take Assistant. Alright, so we finally got the Teleport. We have a really low to the curve deck. So maybe the tempo of Teleport is more important than, you know, guaranteed power drops and stuff like that. These are autopilot picks, don't really matter a whole lot. Vital Arcana is nice, but given that we don't really have any big units at the top of our curve, I think I'm going to pick the Subterranean Sentry here because we need something to close out games if we can't do it quickly, and this guy does it pretty well. Saddle Up is a strong trick. Guard Dog is solid. Learn to Herbalist is solid. I think we have plenty of 2-drops. I'm thinking Saddle Up here because that's going to allow us to continue to push through and blow out our opponents, forcing them into plays that they don't really like. So Master at Arms is a great pickup here. It's just a really strong card. And shiny nonetheless. Between Workshop Tinker and Illumination Wisp here, probably like Wisp more just because it flies, and given that we have Stand Together, these can get out of control pretty quickly. Sure, why not? We'll pick Sarath's Choice, but we're not playing it. Linebreaker Shield is also a very strong Huru card, potentially worth splashing, but I don't think we need to at this point. Would Sandglass Parma make the deck? I guess it allows some of our early guys to keep attacking. Makes Arc Record Keeper harder to deal with. Yeah, I kind of like Parma. I'm going to take Parma here. Alright, yeah, another Helm is great. Herbalist is good. We have a couple of Wisps, so Spiteful Lumen is relevant. Because these Illumination Wisps with Deadly can be a real issue for people. So, I don't know if that card actually is going to make the deck, but it's worth thinking about. So I'm just going to take the Plover here. Another Sentry and Delinquent. We ended up with lots of playables in our colors, so happy about that. Just need to make some cuts. Definitely have too many spells right now. Probably a little high on units as well, so you can see we're pretty high on the 2-drops at the moment, but that's okay. For cards that I don't want to play, I think Lingering Influence gets cut. Instinct is fine, Reflex is fine, Safe Return's fine. Strength of Many is good. Teleport, probably don't need it given that I have the Parma. Also have Vanquish, Dispel, Saddle Up, Stand Together. So we have a lot of good spells. Kind of sad that we didn't get a Wormstone to, you know, make these spells even better, but I don't think it's necessary. We've got a lot of strong spells here. These 3 attachments are fine. Gonna get rid of Plover, probably Spiteful Lumen because we just have the 2 Wisps. Yeah, get that out of there. I think most of these other cards are fine. I think Excavation Assistant can go. We've got plenty of aggression in this deck, and that doesn't really fit an aggressive plan. It's a good early blocker, but given that this deck wants to be kind of aggressive, put some pressure early on, you know, curve into record keeper and keep it going, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have this. So this would put us at 17 power right now, which is probably the right number because our only flood protection is Sky Crew and these subterranean sentries. Otherwise, we're pretty low to the ground and just want to be aggressive with our deck. So let's get the power added in real quick. A 9-8 split between time and justice makes sense to me. Do we have any double influence cards? No. So yeah, this will be great. Thanks for watching the drafting and deck building portion of the this test run, and next we'll get into some games.